My name is Paul the Prince, DJ, MC, broadcaster, radio, TV. I do a whole lot of things, but yeah, just an entertainer. I actually started DJing in 2010, a long time ago. I was in Osaka. So my friend used to play at a little lounge, and I've always loved music. So I've been singing before I started doing everything else. I was singing, dancing. So yeah, he just showed me how the software works, and I would put songs together. And since then, I've always tried to build on what I know. So yeah, it's gradually as the years go on, it became more of what I do. Yo, first gig I said 2010. Now what? It's what 15 years ago now. I remember the place was not that full though. It was nice, it was a small venue. And obviously still learning. That time I was mixing straight from the laptop without any equipment. So it was a little challenging how to press the play with the yeah, but I got through it properly. I used to practice at home, so it's always good to practice before you go out. So it went quite well. Um, Obviously, we learn from the mistakes we make when you start, and I would say that it was very nice for me to start with the most basic of equipment. That now we get the opportunity to buy the best controllers and rock for bigger stages, but that was a very important part for me. Yeah, I use virtual DJ. Most people frown upon it. I don't know why, but I think it's the best software in the world. Hey, matter of opinion. Everybody likes their own tools. I just like that you can connect each and everything. It's got a lot of features, lots of customization. It doesn't really limit you. You can make it into whatever you want. So I've always found the work around it. As the updates have come on, I like the way it works for me. I think they're also one of the first people to bring stems, and yeah, I can't play now without it. I need my stems. Make remixes on the fly. I think it really adds a very good element to creative mixing for me. Record box or Serato. I use none of the two, but I've tried Serato. It's nice. I've never really used record box. I think when as I was starting out back then, I tried Tractor, but I still used to fall back to virtual. Even Serato, there's a controller I bought. I got a free version of it, I think for a year. But so I would say Serato. I think Serato is more user friendly. A lot of people like to use it, and I guess that would be my pick.
And tell us about your first gig here in Nam.
My first gig in Nam. I actually remember I was in second year. It was 2013. Yeah, so I was in UNAM second year. I had a housemate who had a friend who was the owner of Shazin. So I started on a big stage here, but I was always mixing in the house, so they knew that I could DJ because when we had house parties, I was the one playing music on my laptop. Like I said, it's I practice a lot, but they enjoyed it. Said, "Yo, I've got a friend who can really DJ," and then we started the student night thing, and I think we actually made a student night thing very big. I remember it was Valentine's actually when it started, 2015. So when I played some R&B and stuff, and the guy said, "Yo, I think we can do something every week. What do you think?" And I said, "Student night Thursdays. What do you think?" I said, "Good to go." From then on, I was doing the main stage with my friend DJ Clap, who's now in Lusaka, as well as Flavor. So I was a resident of Shestemba. So that's how I started actually. Shestemba back then, 2013. Shout out to people who believed in me. Because without them, I think I was not going to be able to start getting known as a person who plays music for all types of people right now. My style as a DJ, I think it really embodies who I am. I like to call myself a mix of spices. I play a lot of things. I feel like diversity is very important, and not to say that if you're a specialist in a certain genre, it's wrong. No, um, but I think when you have done a lot of residencies, you get all sorts of people that come to your venue, and lots of requests kind of define how the space is run. So for me, my style as a DJ is each and everything. As long as it's nice, it's probably going to find itself in my playlist. But predominantly, and most importantly, I think who I am as a person is R&B and hip hop, Afro beats. It's what I do as an artist also. So that's what I play mostly. But obviously, I do enjoy playing on my piano. Three step, a lot of local music because we have to support the culture. So yeah, that's who I am, and diversity. I think what everybody does make the timing. You get to learn that the more that you play with equipment. In that, it's not just song selection. You can choose the most amazing songs, but timing of when to mix in the song. Also, the beat matching was very difficult back then. Everybody tries to do it manually with our CDJs. Yeah, the good part about software also sometimes is do get the advantage of it automatically does the, yeah, but there's sometimes when you want to challenge yourself and you don't get the BPM right, or Yeah, so those are the mistakes that most DJs do make. The timing of when to mix in a song for it to sound as good as it's supposed to. Because I think that's what builds or destroys a set for me is that if you mix the song entirely wrong, it can make your whole set crumble. But you can always bounce back. Everybody does make mistakes. Yeah, you can always bounce back. But if you do them too often, I think that's when there's a problem. You need to go back to the drawing board. Most up and coming DJs do get this part wrong, and then you always want to play the hits. Hey, um, let's say you've been booked for a gig and there's a lot of DJs after you. Depending on what time you're playing, I think they do not read the room. It's very important for me. I read the room, and you also check the time that you're playing. If it's an event that has people that don't actually like a certain genre, you need to know what event you're gonna play for, like what type of people you're gonna go play for. So you don't just go and play for you. Your DJing is making people enjoy the music, taking them on a journey. So I think most DJs do get that wrong, and that look, you're just playing for yourself. eh, and then you miss out on people getting to enjoy your set. So it's very important that DJs read the room and don't always try and fall back on hits that everybody's playing, and then you don't really stand out, because then you're just like everybody else. So it's always good to add something different that's gonna build you and your identity when you play. Kind of true and also not true. I think some people do go to maybe just certain venues where people are used to playing a certain type of set. I have to give it up to hip hop DJs, especially in Namibia. People like Chinchilla, Sandile, Freddie. There's a lot of us. Biza. A lot of people who play hip hop sets. I think it has been improving a lot. A lot of people try to be so creative, but I think what the problem is sometimes is the audience themselves do not give a chance to new songs. And sometimes as DJs they lose confidence in, like, if people are not vibing to what you're playing, you start to fall back on what you already know. So there's nothing wrong with adding new songs. I add a lot of new songs all the time. Before it even becomes a banger, you can put it in. It's always good to find a balance of how you're going to structure your set, and that how much new music are you putting on and how much familiar music are you putting on, but you're going to build like a good set so that people can be like, oh, I've never heard this song before. So I think a lot of people frown upon DJs because they get used to routine. You play the same songs all the time and then you don't step out of it. And I guess I know a lot of hip hop fans also when you go to the club. A lot of people use on piano. Yeah, I think that's why they probably hate on hip hop DJs. I'm like, yo, I just want to hear Baby in my room right now. But if you drop All Eyes on Me, maybe there's very few people that are gonna vibe with you. But I think if you're a hip hop DJ, keep going. You're always gonna find your crowd. There's different types of events that cater to your specific demographic, and also look at these R&B events that are coming up. You're never going to find those sets on a normal night in the club, but you find the R&B event full because they're missing out on that. So you always have to continue, keep practicing. Do not feel bad that you're not booked every single week because of what you play. Yeah, so shout out to hip hop DJs. Securing a residency is quite tricky. Hey, just like everything in life is about connections. Hey, people know you, it's easier. Because I think if you notice, clubs don't put out a post that say, yo, we're looking for a resident DJ. You're just going to find somebody playing there. So securing a residency is all about you standing out somewhere and then you being recommended. So if you know an owner of a club or a lounge, you can also go pitch and say, yo, I would be a DJ, and don't feel bad to play for free on the first day because they don't know you. So if you want to secure residency, you always have to show what you can do first, and you have to be diverse. Like I said, residency it's different hours. You don't know what time you're going to be playing. You can't just be used to playing one thing and one thing only, because then you don't really stand out. Like they can't rely on you. If you only play on a piano now, and then you get a hip hop crowd from somewhere, and they say, "Yo, you're playing now. You're gonna struggle." So you have to be diverse. Add a couple of different genres into your locker, and always and I love residency because it's when you actually test yourself a lot. It's sometimes it's going to be empty, sometimes it's going to be very full. So you have to get used to playing even when it's not rocking. Like you have to learn how to enjoy yourself. So if you secure residency, make sure that you get used to all sorts of challenges. Yeah, but getting it in the first place, know somebody. Ooh, top three. I don't want anybody to feel bad. Like I'll from top, from the top of my head, the first one I'm gonna put, I think, is Chester because they gave me a chance, and that place was rocking. Those three dance floors. In the middle, it was commercial. I think on the right side it was Congolese music, and on the left it was Angolan. So that's the reason why if I play now, I play everything because it's a bit of a challenge. I used to like that. Three dance floors, and we were just rotating. So I put that at top of the list. Second, I would put the catch. Shout out my brother Robert Switch. We did a thing, man. From Blue Mondays to Money Heist to we got a baller in the house. Yeah, I think we started a certain trend that I think people are going to know that that came from that side. It was something that we built, and I think I like the catch because it put me on as people know that now you MC in the club also because they only knew me from TV or whatever. But what we started there was so original that when I go somewhere else, a lot of people say that person sounds like you. No, no offense. Whoever it is, it's okay. We all start from somewhere, but that's the second one. The third one, shout out Loft. Yeah, Loft, the diversity of artists that come that side and the vibe, man. It's hard to explain. There's a certain time when it actually jumps off, And what I like is the consistency of their setup. Everybody's so professional, They've got your drinks ready. The decks are always on point. They always check their sound levels, and they play with the lights. So yeah, I think those are my top three: Shastemba, the Catch, and the Loft. I think what's holding back the DJ industry is I think a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on international artists. We've got amazing local talent as well here. There's many times I've seen people being booked from outside and they play the same set that they say Toomey played, and then I wonder like how come they don't treat them the same way, like in terms of remuneration and just general hospitality. Sometimes don't be, like promoters don't really take care of the DJ because let's face it, if you book the DJ and you piss him off and you move his USBs and everybody boycotts, you're gonna struggle there if you want to do the songs one by one and please the crowd. So I think promoters really need to take care of DJs, from hospitality riders to compensation, because it's a very tough job to keep people dancing and keeping people in the establishment. And that's the part that really irks the most. And also not paying on time. Just like everybody else, everybody got bills. So if you keep promising payment and you don't pay, it's a very big problem. DJ Chinchilla. I always tell him when I see him um, that I became better after I checked him out. And that the way he was playing back then in Monaco, oh, man. Yeah, so shout out to Chinchilla. I've not worked with a lot of DJs locally, but he's always one who he even gave me a folder actually last time. I remember I lost all my music at some point, and then he gave me a couple of extendeds. I think there's very few people going to do that because we buy the music. So shout out to Chinchilla. Even the laptop stand I have now, I got it from Chinchilla. He's always been supportive, man. I always call him a legend. I know he doesn't like it because I think it makes him sound old, but he's not. But big shout out to Chinchilla. I think I have to give credit where credit is due. He's done a lot, and he still continues doing what he loves, even though he's doing corporate stuff. But he still falls back on that, and he's absolutely brilliant. Um, well, there's a lot of people who are really raising the bar. Shout out to Rhythm. Like I said earlier, DJ Sandile, man. Shout out to Freddie. Shout out to Solange. Biza, very good friend of mine. We play similar genres, but I like the way he mixes so well without headphones on any equipment. You can give him 350s, you can give him 2000s. He's still gonna rock, and he's always found a way to make his mixes creative. Shout out to DJ Ant, Callan. I think I'm mentioning people who play diverse genres now. I think you can see that because that's my space as well. So I think we all not like we're in competition, but I think we keep each other on our toes because we check that okay, this person is adding new stuff to their playlist. I gotta do that too. Or this person is mixing like this. Is adding I'm a piano with hip hop. I gotta do that too. I see people being so creative. So I think the ones that I mentioned now, um, absolutely brilliant. And don't forget Tumi Mohammed. I mean, now he's also a producer. That's dope. KT, yo, there's so many soul brothers. Also, yeah, I think everybody who I find at different venues, I always try to pick on something. Like you say, yo, that was dope, and they know that I give props. I give credit where credit is due. I'm not a hater. I've never hated on anybody. So whether you're using sticks or laptops, as long as you're able to rock a crowd, for me, I have mad respect because that's one of the hardest things to do. And I don't know why people hate on it a lot. But if you were to ask the crowd one day and say, what equipment was that guy using or software? I guarantee you 99.9% of the time people don't care. Because you can be playing with USBs and have a very, I don't know what language I can use, a very whack set. I almost use another word. I think it doesn't matter what you use. And there's always an argument to say, okay, if you're using a laptop, it's like you're trying to gain an advantage. But why are you taking the hard option? You're given options for a reason. What's going to make your job easier? What are you more comfortable with? I think that's what I agree with. It's like the argument of manual and automatic cars. It's the same thing. You're all driving, but in different ways. But the goal is to get there. So for me, I started with a laptop and I just continue with it. And I always give people this argument like, even if I give you my equipment, you're probably not going to play like me. So it doesn't matter what you're using. It's just how you put the music together. And I know a lot of people frown upon it, like, oh, why you always bring a laptop? I mean, yo, people are enjoying the set. I don't think they care. Yeah. And you know why I like the laptop? Also, in that I could be playing at any wedding party club and somebody can say, yo, I've got somebody from Congo really wants this song, man. It's about to spend 10K. Guess what? I'm gonna download it and play it right then. Now, if you bring a USB, tell me how you're gonna play it. You know what I mean? So there's certain advantages that come with playing my equipment. Like I said, residency has taught me that you need to be ready for anything. So that's why I like my gear, and I'm always looking to upgrade it. So shout out to whatever you use, man. I'm not hating on anything. If it does the job, it does a job for you. Corporate gigs are you're probably gonna find sober people, you know. So it's a little easier. You can play whatever. You can be doing a little warm up, put some Michael Jackson on, or I know some Stimela. You know what I mean? Like depending on the crowd that you're playing for. The club is a little bit more difficult, and I know people think it's easy. But drunk people are some of the hardest people to also deal with, in that you can start your set now. For example, I'm playing KP Illest over Kendrick Lamar, and then somebody's gonna come to me and say, "Yo, I want Be in my room like now, bro. I'm about to leave." you know, and then now it's up to you to check if the rest of the crowd is feeling that. So there's a certain balance that you have when you're playing in a club. That's a little difficult in that. Yes, you're gonna get a lot of requests, but the vibe is very hard to read sometimes if you're not tuned in. Because, like I said, if you're playing for yourself, people are gonna enjoy it. You're gonna kill the dance floor. But at the corporate gig, half the time people don't really care as long as you're playing nice music. Hey, yeah, it's not gonna be that deep. But I like corporate gigs as well. They pay more. That's not really tough, but I mean, what are you consuming every day? If you're a chef, you probably have to find new ways to perfect your recipes all the time. You can't stick to the menu from 2008. So every time you got to check what other chefs are cooking. You know what I mean? So I always check out other mixes online. Uh, my Apple Music has New Music Fridays. So you check, and also TikTok, Instagram, there's songs. So I always try to pick out what is similar to what I play, add it on quickly, and then if I'm free, sometimes I don't even practice it. I just put it on there and then in the club and see how that's gonna go. It's always worked for me, I think, in that I don't prepare. So whatever I hear that's nice that could fit, download it quickly. I might not even ever play it, but one day it might come in handy. So I've got like a lot of music that I've played or not played, but I just try to always put something new because you never know when you might need it. And like I said, it's always good to keep your playlist fresh. Um, and updated because hey, times are changing. Like I said, you can't have the same playlist from 2015 in 2025 when there's some new songs that people are wanting to hear when they go out. So how are you gonna make that person's day? Really comes down to how much you've researched and added to your catalog. I started incorporating the mic a little later. I think I started from September, not too much. We would do shout outs. It was not really like keep the party going. Oh, it's somebody's birthday, so you get to do that. And I was already emceeing gigs before, like Miss UNAM when I was at UNAM and different other gigs. And then later on, when you find out that you can actually put this together based on how you saw it, somebody else doing it online, or when I went down to Joburg, you also try to incorporate it into your set, but make it you. So it's something that I've just added gradually, but it started from the beginning and like, yo, give somebody a shout out. So you can't run away from it. You're the only one there. There's a mic. You have to do it. And as you get more comfortable, it becomes easier. It becomes part of your two set. Oh, some of the phrases that are said in some of them are from music. Like Who Or Who, there's a song like that actually. And you get to see those things from online sometimes, like Who Or Who. But my original one is Hennessy, Hennessy, Hennessy. That one I didn't get it from anywhere. Everything else is probably heard it somewhere. Asambe, Asambe, those things, Wololo, those are things that everybody says. But some of the things are very original, like the Hennessy, Hennessy. So I know if I hear somebody saying that, I know where they heard that from. Like I said, that residency at the gas that time, it really pushed you to be creative because that's when I was doing MCing full time, like in the club. And you have to find different ways to make people happy when they buy a bottle so they can buy it again. So everybody wants to feel important. You find ways to incorporate what they're drinking into what you're saying. So most of the stuff is just made on the fly. You don't really practice it at home because it's not the same effect. You try it there, say it once. If it doesn't hit, then you're probably not gonna say it again. But there's certain things that you say in the club when you try it out and it hits, and then it becomes part of your repertoire. I think not everybody's on UK rap. I'm on that now for real. Like shout out Central C. I used to obviously vibe to grime back in the day. My cousin grew up in the UK. When he came back, he gave me Usher CDs, and he put me on to UK grime back in the day. So that is something that is only getting popular now. Shout out to Central C, like I said. But I think that's my guilty pleasure in that it was not as big then. Like it's not doesn't have the same effect as 50 Cent or Drake. But I really love UK rap, like grime, Gigs, Skepta, Tion Wayne. Central C, Dave. Yeah, those guys are. I think that's a different type of hip hop, and the way they put it together, it inspired the likes of Pop Smoke as well. People don't really get it that genre that Pop Smoke is doing, a laptop going off while you're playing. I remember when I was using a Windows laptop, the blue screen of death, bruv. Imagine that. And then from then on, I said, I'm never using that again. Now, I'm not hating on Windows. Obviously, I think my equipment was just old at the time. But that's one of the most. And when it goes off, you have to look for somebody with a USB to come and save the day. And that's why I said you need both tools, eh? So that's one of the most embarrassing things. Music just going off while it's bumping there, and it just went off. You know what I mean? That's one of them. The second one, now I don't know too many, but I think just music going off is what really irks me. I don't like it. Whether it's the equipment's fault, the venue, or me, it's something that I don't want to happen again. But it will happen. But you have to save the day at some point. There's been many challenging sets. I'm not gonna lie, many. And I think the I can't name a specific one, but it does happen a lot. In that you go to a place that, like I said, you found people maybe playing on a piano and it was kicking, and then you were the last one maybe, and then you have to start it up. But you can't play the same thing. But what you play has to make sense, if that makes sense. So there've been a lot, but one key that I do know is that, and this is advice to many DJs, is that start from somewhere and you build on it. Like you don't have to think about it too much, because if you think about it too much, you really are going to make a mistake. But just test the crowd. You play this, you play that, you play, and then if they catch on to this one, you continue that, and then you keep switching. So there's been a lot of events where it was challenging because of what you usually play, but eventually people are gonna ride with you if you take them on that journey. Shoo,
Let's do the last 5 minutes.
man, I've had a lot, and you know what pisses me off is that I don't record them. I'm using software every day. I do not record them. I've had many. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. In all the venues that I've mentioned, even some that I've not said now, there's some sets where somebody comes to you and says, "Wow, I know the Catch had many, man. A lot of the Catch, Escobar, and at the Loft." That's because you talk about recently. So yeah. And there's one I played that it should be the Jameson Connect. Yeah. I remember I got props for that one as well. Yeah. I enjoyed that one very much. Now that's a very good question. I don't know why. Um I think it could come from like, what you consume. If you listen to a lot of Piano, and I'm not saying there's no local Piano, but a lot of people don't get in tune with what people are dropping. And does come from both sides, the artists and the DJs. You need to get into that. You know what I mean? Say, oh, here's something new you can add to your set. Because there's a lot of great local music. I do play a lot of local music. Um, and I don't know why. That's a question for the people who don't play. Because I do incorporate a lot of local. Not too much, but some. Because, like I said, if you're diverse, you have to make sure everybody's catered for. I remember just last night, I was playing a lot of One Blood, and everybody was surprised. Yo, how you know the songs? And I do not even speak Ocherero. You know what I mean? So it's all about your crowd, and when you show up for them, make sure you give them what they want. That's the job as a DJ. Like I said, if you play for yourself all the time, you're probably gonna skip on the local because you like your Llanos, and then you forget to add some local flavors for the people who are there. You know, and also DJs are very important. We need to start adding more so that we promote our own artists. We see these people in our circles, and we're not doing them a service to say let's add this to our sets. I think it's important for us to do that. Yeah, very important for artists to send DJ packs because, like I said, DJs sometimes don't even know where to get your song. It could be nice, but we don't know where to get it. Everybody goes on, yeah, which is very bad. You don't know. It might not even be on YouTube. you know. So it's important for like I said, artists to have very high quality music. Make a DJ pack, a cappella, instrumental, la la la, radio edit, because some places you can play dirty music, and artists do not. Some artists do not even care to make a clean version. Now imagine if I give you a dirty version and then I come and ask you, you never play my song, but meanwhile you're a radio DJ. How am I going to play it? So it's very important for artists to take their craft seriously, make radio edits, clean versions, extended versions, acapellas, and provide DJs with that. And then we'll see that the market is going to get bigger. It's improved my DJ career a lot. I've met artists personally. You know, you get to ask them and they tell you what they're working on. You get to hear songs that you're not usually going to hear. And when you're on radio, there's a lot of music that you get to play and listen to. So it's very important to listen to radio as well. You get to hear gems, man, a lot of gems. I remember when I started doing the radio show, there's some songs that I'll call artists personally, say, yo, you got a new one? And they'll be surprised and I'll put it on. There's a lot of artists can tell you. Like I would even call them for an interview, say, yo, this guy used to call me. Now we don't do it, but maybe we'll come back to it. But radio was a very important element for me to discover new music from artists personally. Because then they give it to you and they're always happy to, hook you up with their new project. Yeah. They say all DJs are players, bro. That's what they say. Or that's the one I hear the most. I don't know, most people just think DJs are not educated. I don't know why. They just think it's just a guy who's just playing music. I don't know why DJ's looking at somebody, but but yeah, those are some of the ones that I've heard. But hey, look, I got a degree. You know what I'm saying? So I do it for fun, but it's also my serious main full time thing. But those are the most common misconceptions here about DJ. Just useless guys. All they like is just girls and alcohol. They've got no future. But it's not true. There are a lot of serious people who are doing this seriously. So yeah. Finding the right price, especially in this market where we are here. Um, a lot of people do DJ for less, so it gives the perception to promoters or club owners that that is the going fee. So it's become a little difficult in the market to charge what is reasonable. But I would say if you're a beginner, start with something. I remember I used to get paid $400. Yeah, I'm not gonna mention the establishment, but yeah, back then, not so long ago, probably 2018, man, 19, and I had a Golf 6. Now imagine that's not even a full tank, bro. So later on, as you get to work with serious people, the more established you are, the more you can charge the price you want. And if it's not for you, learn to say no. It's cool. Like, okay, I can't do that. It's not. Yeah, because I think a lot of people are afraid to say no because you really need the money. And if that's you, that's cool. But it has to reach a point where DJs have to come together and say this is the minimum that we can charge because it's really killing the market. And that a lot of people just DJ for drinks. But if you're up and coming, that is fine. You have to establish yourself, like I said. If you're new, don't try and charge like chinchilla. You know, make sure you find your price point as you keep elevating. The more you become better, the more people are looking for you. You got to put your price up. Sure. Every time the question comes up in an interview, say, what is next? You never know, man. I think, the more we're living life, the more you get to surprise yourself. Lots of surprises come your way. Uh, I think even last year, if you asked me if I was going to be playing at Maromo an 8 hour set, I wouldn't have known. you know, Shout out to Nico, put us on that Batu launch. I wouldn't know. That was just the beginning of the year, and I was in Osaka at that time. So, yeah, whatever comes my way, if it does fit what I want to do, I'm definitely going to do it. But I'm looking to get back to broadcasting as well. Because, like I said, I miss interacting with artists personally. I love music, and I'm always ready to push the culture. So, yeah, I think that's something that I miss to do now. And that, let's get back to what I love to do. Like I said, I've got a qualification for it. So, yeah, I think that's what I love. But the vinyls and the equipment, there is a large selection of equipment here, but there's some things I've not seen anywhere else. So, shout out to Groove Boutique. It is a boutique. There's a player one there at the back. Hey, Group Boutique, if you're watching this, bro, please, man, F Flex 6. If you can just hook a brother up, you know what I'm saying? But no, it's a very nice store. The layout is nice. It does feel like it's a place for people who love music. If you love music, you definitely have to come and check it out. You're really going to feel at home. And they've got nice coffee too. First of all, I want like an M4 MacBook Pro with a 1 terabyte hard drive because my hard drive right now is a little too small. But apart from that, I would really, really love to get proper players, man. Like I'm talking top of the line. Even that Alpha Theta that I see at the back, the new one there. Is it the GRV 6? What is that called? Yeah, I would really like that. The new Alpha Theta. It's always good to upgrade equipment. I think, like I said, technology is advancing. People who are hating on laptops, sorry, I'm gonna still use this for the next 10 years. And there's a lot of gear here that I would love to have in my setup. So yeah, man. Now, why you ask? Are you asking this question? Are you gonna give me something or nah? Never mind. But that's mine. That's my dream setup, man. The top of the line laptop, some of the latest players here. Because I think the more you get, you invest in new stuff, the more you unlock a new side to your capabilities. I think, yeah, that's mine.